This shir is produced by Torah Info.
Today's topic of this new shiur for Torah Info. Today's topic is always speak to others with kindness. Midot tovot. This source for this story, the story that I will tell over and share with our dear viewers, it comes from Masechet Ta'anit, Daf Chaf, Tosfot. He brings this story down, Tosfot. So there's a story about Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Shimon. So one day Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, he was riding on a donkey next to a scenic river near the city of Teveira in Eretz Israel. So he was on his way home from studying Torah with his teacher, with his Rebbe, the Bet HaMidrash, learning Torah. He was on his way home. And as he was riding back home, he was thinking about all the Torah he learned that day. And he was proud of himself, that how much Torah he accomplished in the Bet HaMidrash, and he was learning with his Rebbe. And he was thinking, he said, I'm so proud of myself, I had this zechut of understanding Torah. And he was thinking. And while he was thinking and writing, he sees a man passing by. And so Rabbi Elazar, he couldn't help noticing how ugly he was. How ugly that person was. Now, we're going to see from here what Rabbi Elazar says, and we're going to explain why he says that, and the other view of why he's saying that. Good day to you, Rabbi. The man, he said to Rabbi Elazar, he said, good day to you, dear Rav. Have a good day. And instead of turning around and greeting the person again, Rabbi Elazar, he commented, empty one, how bad looking you are. Are all the people in your town as ugly as you? Now, this is what we need to get straight. Here, when it says this kind of what Rabbi Elazar says, some people unfortunately take it in the bad way. They say, "Oh, a big Rav taking that was stated in the Gemara Mishnah. He was a big Rav." Say such a thing to people. What kind of Rav is he? Now that's chashlom what some people think. Over here in our story, we cannot take it as a way that we understand it in our days. We cannot say, as I said before, we cannot take what Rabbi Elazar said. We cannot take it to our minds in a bad way. You can't say, wow, bad things he says. I can't believe he actually said that the Rav. And now people are going to say, oh, since he says bad things, I'll say bad things. Chas v'shalom. We should never learn like that from Rabbi Elazar. And Rabbi Elazar had completely different reasoning, and we need to know that. And we do need to believe in that. We cannot think, we need to think that Rabbi Elazar had a reason to say that. Maybe he was talking about the person's tikkun, his gilgul. Maybe he was talking about something else about the person. Not specifically the physical appearance. Maybe it was spiritual. Maybe it was spiritual. But over here in the story, I guess it's saying by the physical way. So even though it could be physical, by his face looking ugly, I'm just making a point of it, that we still cannot judge Rav Elazar ben Shimon and say, oh, what kind of Rav was he? No, we cannot, because he has a reason. Every Rav was just not going to burn out words. He has a reason to say what he wants to say. So that's the mentality we need to have before we continue, okay? Let's continue. So after Rabbi Elazar said that, he said, are all the people in your town ugly as you? So now the man replied, he said, I don't know. I really don't know. But why don't you speak to the one who made me this way and ask him why he made such an ugly person? That's what the person told Rabbi Elazar. Obviously, what was the person talking about? Hashem. Hashem made him. Hashem created him. And after Rabbi Elazar, he heard what that person said. He realized immediately what kind of averah that what kind of terrible sin he had just done to this person. He had hurt the man's feelings. And the Rabbi Elazar, he got off his donkey right away. He came to his mind. He fell on the ground. Rabbi Elazar fell on the ground, on the knees, next to the person, and he begged him. He said, please forgive me that I said these kind of words and things to you, bad things. Please forgive me that I did not have sense of midot to you. That I said something in the bad way. Please forgive me that I said that. that I said that you were ugly in your face and everything. Now, Rabbi Elazar, he begged that person. So the person said back to Rabbi Elazar, said, I won't forgive you until you go and tell the one who created me how ugly his creation is. Answered the man. The person said back to Rabbi Elazar, said, I won't forgive you until you go and ask, as I told you before, ask the person who created me, ask the man who created me, why he created such a person, and then I'll forgive you when he gives you the answer. Rabbi Elazar was terribly disappointed that the man did not want to forgive him. So Rabbi Elazar, he was begging and begging. He was begging so much that he followed that man to his town. That's how desperate Rabbi Elazar was to be forgiven for his avera that he had done to this person. So when he came to the town with that person, the townspeople, they said, oh, the Rabbi, welcome to our town. They right away started giving him food, nice comfort place, food, drink, water. And everybody was so excited that the big Rav, Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, came to our town to visit that town. And they all came out to welcome the great Talmid Chacham, the great sage. They were chanting, welcome Rabbi, welcome teacher. They were all with excitement. They were cheering, chanting to Rabbi Elazar. Now the ugly man, he said back to the townspeople, he said back to his neighbors, he said, who are you calling Rabbi and a teacher? And the townspeople, they said, they said that the person was following you, the person was behind you. That's the person we're talking about. That's a Rabbi. So now the ugly man, he said back to the neighbors, he said, if he is your teacher, I should hope that there will not be many like him. You see what the man said back to the townspeople? He responded to the ugly man responded that way. He said, if he's your Rabbi, how come he's acting this way? I hope that there shouldn't be other people like him. That's what the ugly man said about Rabbi Elazar. So now the townspeople, they replied back, having an argument. They said, why are you speaking so disrespectfully in front of such a great sage, such a great Talmid Chacham? You can't say that. It's embarrassing, busha. The man explained how Rabbi Elazar had hurt his feelings with his cruel comment. So now the neighbors, after they heard the story that happened with Rabbi Elazar and the ugly man before they came to the town, they heard it and they said back to the ugly man. They said, okay, we realize that he insulted you. He insulted you. The Rav insulted you. But since he's a truly great Torah sage, he's a great Talmid Chacham, we ask that you could please try to forgive him anyways. We don't want the big Talmid Chacham to have a big avera, so please forgive him for the sake of us. And the ugly man, he said back to his neighbor, said, fine, you convinced me, I'll forgive him. I'll forgive Rabbi Elazar for the sake of you, for my dear neighbors. For you, I'll do it, but on one condition. So what's that tonight? What's the condition? Always remember not to feel more important than others, even if you learn a lot of Torah. Do not be gava and show pride and take over people with your mind. Say, I'm smarter than you. Okay, once I'm smart, I can do whatever I want. Chas v'shalom, a person cannot do that. And always be careful not to hurt anyone's feelings. Because Derech Eretz Kadma Letorah. Midot come before learning Torah and teaching Torah. Midot are the first concept of life that a person needs to acquire before learning Torah. Helping, doing kindness, tzedakah, helping people, talking nice to people. A person not having a mouth full of nevul peh, or not varim. And I'm talking to myself also. All of us need to understand this message, that the story that the Tosafot is sharing with us, Masachat Ta'anit. You need to understand the story about Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon. From the story, we could apply to us every daily basis. We could think about the story, say, okay, if I'm about to say something to this person that he did something to me, I want to come up to him and tell him something. And the person right away should think about the story and say, what, I'm gonna give him rebuke, but in a nice way. So many people come to a person, give him rebuke, but it's fake rebuke. He comes to start screaming and cursing and say, why are you treating me this way? And what does the person who insulted him gain? Nothing. Clue. Nothing. Why? Because he got insulted back. He got screamed at. He got cursed at. right? So by you having midot, and if you want to rebuke someone, do it in a nice way with midot, Derech Eretz. You be in a nice way. So that's the message we get from here, that we get from this amazing story. So, right, on one condition, so the ugly man, right, as he said back to the neighbors, he said, I'll forgive Rabbi Elazar on one condition, that you guys learn from the story, my dear neighbors, not to hurt anybody's feelings, right, not to hurt anybody's feelings, and do not feel more important than others, even if you learn a lot of Torah. That's the message the ugly man gave to his neighbors. After when he forgave Rabbi Elazar was relieved. He was relieved to be forgiven. But this sentence of it I'm about to say is very shocking. Little did he know that the ugly man was actually Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi was there the whole entire time. The ugly man was Eliyahu Navi. And he was testing Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar was actually not talking to a regular human being, but he's talking to Eliyahu Navi. You know, Eliyahu Navi, he comes to any person. He's a disguise. He's undercover. He could be in anything. He could be a poor person, rich person, a person over here, an ugly man. He could be a big tabi chacham, Eliyahu Navi. He's a disguise. And Eliyahu Navi, he taught Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon a lesson. What was that lesson? If one mocks any creation, one makes fun of any person, any creation that Hashem created, one is actually making fun of Hashem, the Creator. Why? Because every person has a B'Tselem Elokim. He has a little bit of Hashem in his body, in his neshama, in his body. Hashem created him. So once a person makes fun of another person, another Yehudi, it's as if he's making fun of Hashem, which is Chas V'Shalom called what? Chilul Hashem, right? Ruining the quality of Hashem's name. Chas V'Shalom. That's why we need to Kiddush Hashem. But the opposite, Kiddush Hashem, making Hashem's name holier. Chas v'shalom, not downgrading Hashem's name. Chas v'shalom aleinu. That's what we see from what Eliyahu Navi taught Rabbi Elazar. Said again, when it makes fun of a person's creation, the way he looks, the way his face looks, the person has a lot of disabilities. Some people unfortunately have hands, legs, right? That's why we need to thank Hashem every day. We could also get a message from it to thank Hashem every day, and not to insult other people. You see a person, chas v'shalom, he's disabled, go help him, do chesed. See, do you need help with your shopping? Do you need help with anything that you want to pick up? If people, some hands can move, right? A lot of people in our world, there's a lot of people who are unique, they're special, they're different from us, from normal people. So we understand from this message to have midot, have hakarat tov, appreciation to a person who does something for you. Have midot, have derech eretz to other people, you know, and never to make fun of other people. So that day, Rabbi Elazar, he taught in the Bet Midrash, there's a halakha there for a person. There's a halakha there for a person. Right? He did something wrong. Let's say he ate meat and milk. He has to go back and teach other people not to eat meat and milk, not to do that avera. That's halakha. So Rabbi Elazar, he did the same thing. He did the same thing. So he went back that day to the Bet Midrash and he told the students, he said, a person should always be like a soft reed, a tall grass. How should it be a reed? Why should it be a reed? To others. How is it going to be the reed? What's going to be the difference? Just as a reed bends easily, the grass bends easily, and it's windy, it's not like shock like that, it's nice, taking a nice slow time. So should a person act gently. A person should act gently. He's compared to a grass, so as not to hurt other people's feelings. He should be soft with other people, just like the grass. That is why it is best for a Torah scroll to be written with a reed, to be written with grass, to read. It's a tall grass. It reminds us to always try to make others feel good. And that's a shiur that I really want to share. Dear viewers, thank you so much for listening to another Torah video. With Hashem, we hope to see you in the next Torah video. Thank you.